I'm going to start with the bigger of the two
of
games
course.
personally. We're going to start with, of course, the biggest game of the weekend for Technical Fowl. The New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers. If you haven't seen it, Panthers fans or Technical Fowl watchers, or if you just happen to click on this video to see a Saints-Panthers preview for whatever reason, go watch a few things. Our TikTok, go watch our Panthers prediction for the season, and then my apology on Tuesday for putting money on the Panthers to go under 3.5 wins and the Saints to win the NFC South. And go watch that video because both of those provide a lot of context to why this game is being previewed by a podcast that is not specifically a Saints or Panthers podcast. By the way,
disclaimer, we are not a BYU podcast solely.
True.
Despite our sweet shirts and
Yes.
Go Cougs. But
we are a podcast of many. We're specifically a state podcast. But that Panthers podcast is apparently coming back.
Meow Mix is
Meow
returning.
Mix is
Huge.
returning. I can't confirm whether or not they have listened to the hate because a lot of people then responded to them asking them to not return because they are 4-1 since Meow Mix has stopped recording to go spend more time with their families, as they said, because they wasted so much time talking about a terrible football team in the Panthers. So much has changed since then. The Carolina Panthers are 5-4.
So their most recent thing is, even though we planned to record last week before the results against Green Bay, we won't be recording due to overwhelming response from former players. We were just a small, fun podcast since 2019 and needed a break from all the time we spent putting the show on.
Wow. So they did listen.
So their return got shut down. I feel bad for them.
Yeah, that does suck. This feels like an opportunity to capitalize on everything that has helped them.
I mean, I'd never heard of them until this, so you've
Yeah.
clearly got better traction.
It's kind of almost a national story.
Yeah.
At this point, Carolina's 5-4, point blank. They have the same record as the Chiefs, if you don't know, which is diabolical. The Saints are 1-8. The Saints are going to be starting Tyler Shuck for his second road start. Hasn't had his first home start. He'll have that next week. Panthers, Carolina, the Saints own this series 6-4 over the last 10 games, by the way. Not that that matters. Many quarterbacks have played in that on both sides, actually. Carolina, though, being 5-4 after the Saints got blown out last week by the Rams, having the same record as the Chiefs, having all the buzz that they do, getting all the hate that we have, are 5.5-point favorites against the Saints at home. So not even Vegas believes in them. What does Vegas know? That is the question.
Sure.
That is the first question. I think, one, Vegas knows Carolina is not that good.
Sure.
They were really successful as running the football, of course, with Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle is third in rushing yards, having only started 3 games this year, and he's third in rushing yards in the NFL.
Expect a heavy dose of him on Sunday.
Absolutely. He will be kind of a huge key to the game. Bryce Young, of course, like I've said 20 times at this point, has not thrown for 200 yards except once this season against the Arizona Cardinals. He threw for 102 or 103 last week in a win against the Packers.
We were supposed to celebrate that, by the way.
Apparently.
Monumental performance from him.
From the former number one overall pick of 3 years ago in his 4th season. Keys to the game, I think, for one, I want to see how does New Orleans respond after losing Rashid Shaheed? Like, how does Kellen Moore use the different weapons that we have? Does it become like it did when Shaheed was hurt last year, which was a different OC. That was Clint Kubiak at the time. The Seahawks OC now. Does it become just so reliant on Chris Olave that it's just him that we're targeting? Or do we actually use the other weapons that we have in Devon Vele, who we traded almost the same package for to get as we got back for Rashid Shaheed? Does it become Taysom Hill, Juwan Johnson. Does Alvin Kamara get work?
Yeah.
All of those remain to be seen. I really want to see how that works with Tyler Shuck. It kind of sucks to see, of course, to see Shaheed go, but you want the draft capital back. But it really sucks because it will not help Tyler Shuck. And if Olave gets hurt, then we're in the identical spot to where we were with Spencer Rattler. And that scares me because Spencer Rattler started, it was 7 or 6 games last year. And he didn't have any weapons. And so that was like the excuse for him playing bad and not winning a single game was, oh, we don't have any weapons. He has no one to throw to. I don't want that to become the case again with Tyler Shuck. So I'm really curious to see how Kellen Moore uses these weapons. And hopefully that's not an excuse in this game whatsoever. Again, this is another win-win scenario for me. I'll highlight more so why it's a win-win scenario when we get to our next segment, JP's best bets. But Jackie, got thoughts on this one?
My biggest thing is Carolina should just be able to run the football. And
Yes.
Joe just looked to establish that early with Rico Dowdle. This is a game where Bryce Young could have under 200 passing yards, and it actually maybe be acceptable because you can just run the ball so effectively, and the offensive line puts in work. Rico Dowdle puts in work. Chuba as a second back, still is productive. And then you talked about too, and so I don't have too much else to say, but do the Saints have any life? Like, what's the vibes in that locker room?
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to this game truly believing they can win and like truly trying to win, or are they just resigned to a lost season at this point? I don't truly know.
They were really high vibes last week, during practice. I wonder if that will still be the case with Rashid Shaheed being traded. Chris Olave expressed a lot of sadness.
He seemed like a well-liked guy.
With one emoji, just a sad emoji that he posted on Twitter, but it expressed a ton of emotion in one emoji. Shaheed and Olave have played together for 3 years now, so they have spent a ton of time together, really good friends. So does that kind of change how he feels and how the locker room feels, how the vibes felt? I'm curious to see that, of course, as well.
Yeah.
I hope we lose.
Sure.
Because obviously we want a better draft pick. But the vibes have been actually really good for a 1-8 team because I think they understand completely what the reality is, that this is a rebuild. While I did not predict that, nor did I want that, this is a rebuild. We'll get better hopefully next year.
Yeah.
Make some kind of run, be around 500, and then maybe the year after that, everything changes.
Yeah. The last thing we'll say is, Carolina, you better not lose this game. After
Agreed.
all the shit talking you did this past week and acted, the victory laps you did to be back above 500 at this point in the season. If you lose this game, what comes around goes around, I guess.
They cannot afford to lose this game either. New Orleans, they will play twice, and then the rest of the games they play are in Atlanta, in San Francisco against the 49ers, which whether or not you think those two teams are tough or not, that's on the road. It's not easy for Bryce Young. They will host the Rams, play the Buccaneers twice still, and then they host the Seahawks, who are one of the best teams in the NFL. So if they actually want to make the postseason, have no margin for error. They have to sweep the Saints to get to 7 wins and then try to pick up 2 to 3 more somehow and try to get to 10. They cannot afford to lose this weekend against the New Orleans Saints. It would be catastrophic, and it would also be hilarious.
It would be objectively the funniest outcome, if not the best outcome for the Saints, in terms of it would hurt their draft status, but it would be so funny. The Panthers are favored by 5.5. I'm going to take the Panthers to cover. I don't like this Panthers team. I don't think they're altogether very good, but the Saints team is pretty bad, and the Panthers are not bad. So give me the Panthers to cover.
Given how my picks have gone this year, I am 8-19. I'm 4 games behind Sanders, who's in the lead for NFL Pick'em. I am going to allow myself to have a win-win scenario in throw the odds towards my best bets, and I'm going to pick New Orleans to win and cover here, but foreshadowing on a pick later. Give me the Saints to win and cover. I would love that for the show. I want that personally. I'm torn. I want both. I want to lose, but I want to win this game. I think we can afford to win one more game and still be in contention for the number one overall pick.
Yeah.
And so give me the Saints to win and cover in Carolina.